along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee, the judges, brought to you today by AFTV PICK10. Don't forget, you can play your PICK10, easy to play. The link is in the description. You can also scan the QR code, £11,500 to give away this week. Later on, we're going to be going through our PICK10s here on the podcast. But, let's talk Arsenal. Let's first of all talk about the transfer window. I'll tell you what, yesterday was the first time over the whole month that I got a decent, really had a lovely sleep. I did nothing because it was the first day that I didn't have to get up, crack of dawn, do loads of research on players we've been linked to. And it was lovely. It was lovely just to know that it's done and dusted and all over. Let's just remind everybody of the players, the main players that came in and out. Into Arsenal came Leandro Trossard for around about £21 million. Also, Jakob Kivior, he came in for £21 million as well. And the final player, controversial with a lot of Arsenal fans, and we'll be discussing this, Jorginho, who came in for initial £10 million, rising to £12 million with add-on. So roughly, we spent just over £50 million in the January transfer window. Outgoings, and they were all on loan. Cedric, on loan till the end of the season. He went to Fulham. Albert Sambi Lokonga joined Crystal Palace on loan. So those were the sort of headline
Marquinhos
deals.
as well.
Oh yeah, Marquinhos as well went to Norwich City on loan. So those were the headline ones that happened. Lee, what did you make of the transfer window? What would you rate Arsenal's January transfer window out of 10?
Oh, listen, I don't think it was ever going to. We're in a position at this moment in time where, when you rate a transfer window, you ain't going to get a 10 out of 10 on all that because we're looking at squad players. I look at it now and I 6 out of 10. It weren't fantastic, but what it done is I look at our bench now. And I don't see, and I no disrespect to the youngsters being on it that are just on there to fill it up. We've got a bench now that can take us deep into the title challenge is what we want. Whether it's enough to win the league and also the Europa League, I'm not so sure. So that's why I feel it's a little bit, because I think that probably one short in midfield, if I'll be really honest. But listen, hopefully people have put themselves back in the freezer now because they've had a meltdown in the last couple of days.
Yeah, let's just jump straight into it. I mean, I give the transfer window. I think the other night I said I give it a 7.5.
Really, as much as that?
Yeah, I give it a 7.5, right? And I got absolutely slaughtered for that, right? Because I said the same thing. We got in, we covered areas what we needed, and in Leandro Trossard and in Jorginho, we've got ready-made players that are ready to go. Right, you've seen Leandro Trossard in the 2 games he's played. One he started against Man City, and the other one when he came on against Manchester United. 2 huge games. Remember, for a player you've just signed. A lot of players. Jakob Kivior didn't play in any of those, did he?
No.
Because he's a new guy, got to acclimatise, got to get used to things, got to train with the other guys. Trossard, we were able to just throw him in both of those because he's played in the league for the last few years. He knows Man City, he knows Man United, he knows what he's coming up against, and he did well in both games. And that's what you need. And in the signing of Jorginho, it's divided opinion, to say the least. Chelsea retirement home and stuff like that. But for me, that signing made perfect sense. I heard about the signing the day before, the possibility of the signing the day before. And I said this the other night when we was doing the live, that I was at my son's football training and my mate is a Liverpool fan. He goes to me, Robbie, you seen this? Jorginho, you've been linked with Jorginho. And then I looked and I think it was David Ornstein. He's very reliable on these things, sort of said, Arsenal, advanced talks, turned away from Casido and that. And I looked at it and I went, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
And I remember I said to my mate, I go, as long as it's not a long-term, it's not a long-term deal, it makes sense to me. And he goes, yeah, I guess it does. And then obviously the next day now when we signed him, meltdown, we did a live show, right? You know, I say it was split actually. There was a lot of fans that were like, you know, makes sense. There was other fans that were like, why are we getting another Chelsea player? Is this the Chelsea retirement home? Why are we not doing what they're doing? They're getting Enzo Fernandez, you know, world record fee. We're bringing in Jorginho. You know, there was a lot of people. It was really split, really, really split. But for me, I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, look, listen, I'll reference this in the Forever Arsenal, and I'll say it again now. Like, you know, look at the reason that Arsenal fans have gone into meltdowns because they've been led up the garden path by not by Edu, not by Arsenal, but by the powers that be of Sky, media, and everything like that. People turning around and saying, even Sky put it on there yesterday, like, oh, they went in for Caicedo and ended up with Jorginho, which is wrong. This is wrong, you know what I mean? The reason that we went in for...
That's true, we did go for Caicedo.
Yeah, but we didn't replace him with Jorginho. The reason that Jorginho's come in is because El Nenny's injured. Now, if you look at that from that point of view, it makes perfect sense. But we've been all led up that, you know, we're going to get this player and now, like, you know, they haven't done it with Man United when Eriksen's got injured. They brought in the Sabitzer. And it's like, oh, that's good business. Like, but for us, it was, oh, you missed out on the £70 million player and end up with a Chelsea pensioner. That was where it was portrayed. And I can see why Arsenal fans cop the ump a little bit. Like. But if you really look at it in the cool light of day, that is not what's happened. One of our backups to Partey has got injured in training, probably going to be out for the season. Bringing in Jorginho to be that replacement is perfect sense. And I think it's a good deal.
Absolutely perfect sense, right? Listen, It's like you said, like, so if you actually look at the timeline of this thing, I know that they broke the news on the day that El Nenny's out and he's out for the season. Well, possibly the season, but he's going to be out for a long time, right? They knew about a week ago he's going to be out for a long time. Yeah. They were pushing for Caicedo. I don't think they would have pushed so much for Caicedo if there hadn't been that injury. I think Caicedo was a summer target for Arsenal. Yeah. But they just said to themselves, right, you know what, El Nenny's out. Let's just go for this now. Let's just go and see if we can get this done now. They tried. I think 65 million pounds for Caicedo is overpaying by at least 15 to 20 million.
100%.
That's my opinion, right? They pushed hard for this. Brighton turned around and said he's not for sale. Remember, there's been people saying to me, yeah, well, look what Chelsea have done. Are you forgetting? Chelsea went in for Caicedo as well. They put in a bid of £55 million.
Not for sale.
Brighton said, not for sale. We're not selling him. They were adamant they are not selling him. You've got to understand Brighton's position. Brighton are in a position where they can get into Europe.
Yeah.
For the first time, I don't even know if they've been in Europe before, but they can get into Europe this season. They've got a great chance of getting into Europe. Not just that decent chance, a great, whether it be in the Conference League or the Europa League, they've got a great chance of getting into Europe. They're looking on it and saying to themselves, we can sell Caicedo if we want in the summer, but right now we need him for that push. He's one of our most important players, right? So they refuse to sell him. So when people are saying things like, you know, I had this on the show the other night where I'll just go and plonk down 100 million. It don't work like that. If somebody says he's not for sale and they're not budging, he's not for sale. You can get them even more upset. And there's been rumours that Brighton have been upset because of the second bid that Arsenal made, right? Because you can get them more upset and you still got to go and deal with him again in the summer. So you're better off pulling back and just saying it can't happen. Now, what I like about the Jorginho signing is I want to just refer people back to last summer. Remember what happened? It's deja vu. Mohamed El Neni got injured.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Mohamed El Neni got injured just before the summer deadline, right? So we then rushed out again because of the injury, because I think our business has been settled on it. Because of the injury to El Neni, we tried to get Douglas Luiz as a defensive midfielder in from Aston Villa. Aston Villa, again, refused to sell. Didn't want to sell him. We put in 2 offers. They refused to sell him. We ended up, the window closed, we got nobody. Yeah. And all of us was moaning and saying, great window, but the only thing is, what happens if something goes wrong with Thomas Partey? We got no cover.
No, we didn't.
Right? Now, we've been very lucky, very fortunate that as it goes, Thomas Partey's not been injured. The only one game he was injured for.
Man United.
Man United away, what happened?
We lost.
We lost the game, right? So I think they've learnt from their mistakes and they said, listen, we got to get somebody in.
Yeah.
They've looked at the Jorginho situation. His contract's up in the summer. And they said to themselves, why don't we go for him? Arteta likes him. I think he's a decent footballer. He's good. Listen, he's not Thomas Partey, but he's good on the ball. He fits all the criteria for that position as a defensive midfielder. And the most important thing, he's experienced.
Yeah.
He can hit the ground running. Just like Trossard has, he can do the same. A lot of these other names that were being suggested, these are youngsters that are going to have to come in.
Yeah.
And again, they'll probably sit on the bench for the next month. I know that if there's a Thursday night game in the Europa League, I can say to Thomas Partey, or if I was the manager, you can say to Thomas Partey, take a rest, Jorginho, you win. This guy's won the Europa League and the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly that.
And he's won the Euros of Italy.
Yeah.
And at that time when he won the Euros of Italy, people were recommending him to get the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
I think he won the UEFA Player of the Season. Right, so I understand the Chelsea part.
Yeah, I get that.
And I understand that, because of the money that Chelsea have been blowing left, right and centre and the fact that they've got Mudryk over us, I can understand where people will be a bit upset with this. But I'm sorry, for me, it's a deal that makes perfect sense.
I look at it and I'm with you on this. The thing is, when they go back to the summer, they looked at it when El Neni went injured. They could get away with it in the Europa League group stages. You could, play a Sambi Lukonga in there. And we struggled, if we've been realistically, we struggled to win that group, you know what I mean? Which we shouldn't have done, but we did. Can't afford to do that now going into the knockout stage. If you want to do well in that, you've got to have decent players in there, not players that are learning their trade. So that's why they've gone for it there. Going back with Brighton, I think we might have annoyed him, but we've had some sort of encouragement from that. What happens now is, look, and you're dead right what you're saying. Brighton have got a chance. I don't remember them ever being in Europe.
I don't remember them ever being in Europe.
So if they have been, it's a long while ago. Right, they've got a chance of it. They don't need the cash because they've got 60 odd million. They've got Trossard money, 60 odd million from the left back. They said Cucurella to Chelsea. They don't need it. Right, what their job now is, and I'm pretty sure it is, that obviously he's unhappy that it's not happened and things like that. So I'm pretty sure they're on the negotiating table. Look, see it, get here to the end of the season, get us into Europe, and we'll let you go. And if you want to go to Arsenal, you go. Arsenal come back in for you. I think that's there. Arsenal done everything they possibly could. Even the players come out and said he wanted to go. Yeah. Well, I don't see what more Arsenal could do about it. And for people to criticise and slag off Edu for this and that, I think, come on.
There's been people saying to me things like, "Oh yeah, Robbie, what do you work for the club or do you work for Edu or something?" No, I understand the situation. I've been very vocal in criticising the club over the years in the transfer market when I do the transfer daily show.
Yeah, I have as well.
But on this occasion, I think they've been very smart in the decisions they've made when you consider the circumstances. And again, why should we really doubt them when we look at some of the signings they've made
Exactly
recently?
that.
Remember when we was getting Aaron Ramsdale, we were all doubting that and saying, what's going on?
Well, I have to say that. Look, that's what baffles me about people at times. You know what I mean? Like everybody wasn't... I never criticised the signing of Ramsdale. What I criticised at the time was we had a good goalkeeper, and I felt we needed the money on other additions. But so you
like that decision to get Ramsdale,
exactly. As soon as you find out what's going on and the decision and all that, wow.
But
and
also
really,
look at the evidence.
And the evidence. But look at he's got a fantastic relationship with the Arsenal fans, but he could have looked at that on his social media at the time and thought, but he didn't, you know what I mean? So all credit to him.
Look how well he's done.
Fantastic.
Look how well Ben White's done. That was another one that
got criticism.
And look how well he's done, right? Jesus has been a great signing, right? People moaned because we didn't get Lisandro Martinez, right? But we got Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Is anyone moaning now? You've got to give these signings a chance.
Exactly that.
To me, it makes sense. We've got an experienced player as backup for one of our most important players. And I'm happy. Do you know what? The other thing I wanted to, right? I got this, right? I saw this yesterday. I want to ask you about this, Lee, right? So, these are the 10 most expensive Premier League players of all time. Yeah? At number 10, Wesley Fofana, £70 million to Chelsea. At number 9, Virgil van Dijk, £74 million to Liverpool. At number 8, Lukaku, £74 million to Manchester United. At number 7, Jadon Sancho, £75 million to Man United. Ooh. At number 6, Harry Maguire, £76 million to Man United. At number 5, Anthony, £83 million to Man United. At number 4, Paul Pogba, £92 million to Manchester United. At number 3, Lukaku again, £99 million to Chelsea this time. At number 2, Jack Grealish, £103 million to Manchester City. And at number 1, Enzo Fernandez of Benfica, who's gone to Chelsea now for a world record, £106 million. Let's take Fernandez out of it.
Take him out of it.
Take Fernandez out of it, because
there's more flops than successes.
He's not played yet, right? Out of that 10, who's been a success?
Well, Van Dijk has.
Van Dijk, yeah, without a doubt. Van Dijk's been a brilliant signing.
And then I'm struggling. Maybe Jack Grealish, because he's won a title. He hasn't been like
Jack Grealish.
He's not been the Aston Villa Jack Grealish, has he?
I don't think he's. I don't think he's been a good signing at all. You know what I mean, he's because he's not been the Aston Villa. Yeah, they won a title. How much did he contribute to that? He was a bit part player.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a bit more playing time now. But he's still not lit the place up, has he? Right.
So we're saying 1 out of 9.
Lukaku has flopped at both Manchester United and Chelsea. Pogba flopped at Manchester United. Yeah. Let's be real. Didn't live up to that 99 million. Anthony, all right.
Jury's out.
The jury is out big time. Certainly doesn't look like a player worth that sort of money. Harry Maguire, need I say any more? Jadon Sancho, need I say any more? Lukaku to Man United, need I say any more? And a bit harsh on Wesley Fofana because he has picked up an injury, so we're yet to see. Right? You could throw in other guys into that mix like Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah.
Flopped at Arsenal. £72 million.
Spurs player. I don't even know his name now.
But the point I'm trying to make,
million.
The point I'm trying to make with this, right?
Yeah, I think
is that it's not. You may pay a load of money for a player, but there is no guarantee at all that player is going to be brilliant. So when all these fans are getting carried away and saying, Chelsea have paid this for that, and what did we do?
Look how excited we were about Pepe, like our fan base.
Yeah.
Didn't even know him really, did we? Come on, you know what I mean? I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited about that because I wanted Zaha like at that time. But at the end of it, 75 million hasn't worked.
Look at Jadon Sancho.
Oh,
as I said,
he was fantastic at Dortmund. It was fantastic. It's just not worked out.
I think fans sometimes get off the fee. Get off the fee because a lot of people see the money that Chelsea are spending. We don't know yet, right? Nobody can compete with Chelsea as well with what they're doing. I mean, that's how they managed to get Mudryk. I mean, they offered Mudryk an 8.5-year contract. Mudryk's 22.
Arsenal can't afford to do that.
Mudryk's 22. That means he will still be at Chelsea until he's 30.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Poor sod.
Unless he gets moved on, right? And if you're Mudryk, if you're Mudryk's agent, Arsenal are coming, they're offering you 5 years, right? Chelsea are coming in offering you 8.5 years. You're saying, yo.
Yeah, but also, Robert.
You're saying sign for Chelsea. That's security. Your life's set.
Yeah.
Right? And if they do decide to move you on, you stay put unless the club that's going to buy you matches the wages and the length of contract that you're on now. So if you're there for 3 years and you're bombing out, which could happen, look at some of the names I've named out there,
exactly
right?
that.
Stay put unless they can get you a 5-year deal elsewhere, which would bring you up to the 8 years, right, on the same money.
And also, when you're negotiating that 8-year contracts, they're offering you more money. There's more money up like, I'd say Arsenal are offering 80,000. They can afford to go 110, 130, 140,000 pound a week because they can cover it over 8 years.
They're spreading it over 8 years.
Where Arsenal cannot do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they've got the advantage.
Chelsea, the only one doing this, by the way.
Of course they are. They're the only one doing it until it gets stopped now, which it will do. They've found a loophole. Whether you like it or whether you're not, they've found that loophole. Good old Chelsea.
It could come back to bite them.
That can dig out. I'll tell you what.
Could come back to bite them.
Oh, I hope it does. I'll say it now. I hope they're bust within a year. I really do. You know what I mean? But this is good old Chelsea. Let's find a way of getting this. Find loopholes. I bet they're employing people to find loopholes. Classy club, by the way. Other clubs are going by the rules and everything like that. But let's try and find a way around all the rules because we're Chelsea Football Club. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, they found a rule, they found a way through it, fair play to them, and it means that they can get these players an unfair advantage. Over an unfair advantage to the likes of us. Now, we got criticised, and Edu, he's missed out on his... When you look at that, would you want Arsenal to go down that route?
No.
No, and put yourself financially...
It's unsustainable. Unsustainable.
So imagine if we got Pepe another 6 years. You know what I mean? Come on.
That's it. That's a great scenario. Imagine if we'd signed Nicolas Pepe on an 8.5-year contract. Yeah, it would have sounded great at the time. But what would you be all doing there? Remember we was trying to move on Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, another 6 years of it.
Yeah, he still had about another 2 years left on his contract, and we just couldn't get rid of him. No club would take him because of the wages he was on.
And he ain't going to go.
Right? He ain't going. He's like, I'll go, but you've got to find me someone who's going to match my wages.
Oh, you terminate my contract and pay it up.
And that's what we had to end up doing. And I think Chelsea will have to end up doing that with some of the players that they bought. But that's their problem. But I think the signings that we've made have been very, very sensible. Here's another one for you. I wanted to ask you this, right? I don't know if you saw yesterday, Balogun scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Right? So he's now the top goal scorer in the French league.
Yeah.
And before you turn around and say it's a Farmers League, right? He's scored more goals this season than Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, right? I think he's a top goal scoring young player in European football right now, right? If he didn't play for Arsenal, or if he weren't at Arsenal on loan, right? And he was just like over there in France, a French kid, people would be looking at it and saying, this wonder kid.
Exactly that.
Right? How much would he be worth? If Caicedo is like, you're talking 65 million £65 million, how much is Balogun worth?
Exactly that. And when people scoff about, the French league, our two of our three highest signings have come out of there. Pepe, come out of the French league, and look at Lacazette.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Lacazette's got 10 goals.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So maybe only strong as what you think he is. But
I think it just suits their playing to Lacazette's
of course they are. You know what I mean. Realistically, Mbappe should be scoring more than what he is. He's obviously not having as good a season as he normally does. But listen.
But Balogun's having an unbelievable season.
And
Balogun is one of our players, right? And I'm saying, how much is he worth now?
Well, when you look at it,
that's what I'm saying. People will look at players sometimes from afar, and if he weren't playing for Arsenal,
we signed him now, everybody would be going mad.
And he was at that Rams, right? And Rams turned around and they said 50, 60 million. Everybody go and get him. Go and get him.
Yeah, he scored. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The good thing about that now is that we've got look, when you think about that, it's a great thing for us. We've had Saliba playing in that league. Mm-hmm. And now look at him. Well, if we play our cards right with Balogun, he could come back and be he could save us millions and millions of pounds on another striker.
Especially strikers are the most expensive position.
Or if we do decide to sell overpriced, it can fund us other things. So it's a win-win situation. Yeah. Another little good move by dare I say it, Edu and
there's the same Edu that people are slating. Yeah, right.
I can't believe it.
Honestly, I just think some people...
I'll tell you another thing I've got to say just before that, I remember, and this is where the Arsenal fans are so have got to learn. People were saying, I don't want Odegaard, I'd rather have...
Maddison,
and then like he started off. I've always backed him and said I can see a player in there. And no, we should have got Maddison this time and all that. Now what are they saying?
Exactly.
What are they saying now?
That's another Edu signing.
Another thing which they signed. Absolutely. Whoever picked that one out and got that.
We said Edu, innit? Edu and Mikel Arteta.
Right, well, yeah. So realistically,
for £30
million.
30.
Got him on loan in the first season. Got him back. Waited got him back. And you'd rather sack the man because he just couldn't get one over the line on this one. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
What is he worth now?
He's got to be
he's still only about 23.
Yeah.
Right?
And they do that again. Listen, look at what's happened there. Odegaard, they liked him. They couldn't get him back at first, and then they did. So they do that with other players as well. Have a little bit of faith in what they're doing, because if you look at it all around,
they've earned it.
Gabriel, where does he come from?
25 million. 25 million, Gabriel.
And then it's all
What's he worth now?
Hashtag Edu outlaw. I've had people turn around Robbie and saying like, "Have you pull your pants up now from Edu?" Like, I've only spoken to him. I've only spoken to the man a couple of times. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like you said, right? If you was calling him in for an appraisal right now, I said, right, Edu, we're going to do an appraisal on the signings you've made, right? Listen, he's done brilliant.
Yeah. He wasn't part of the Pepe one, by the way.
There was a few. I think the Willian one, he would have been part of it.
Yeah, he was part of that. Yeah.
Or was he, actually?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, I think he might. Well, that was but the majority of them, Ben White, Tommy Asu,
Gabriel,
Ramsdale,
Odegaard.
Come on. I mean, what more do we have to say? And like you said, some of the decisions with Saliba, him and Arteta making him stay out there for the extra period of time, which we all was very angry about, but that's worked out brilliantly. Balogun now on his loan move. Charlie Patino on his loan move. I mean, come on. Yeah. I think
Zinchenko, I forgot about him. Jesus, apparently was Edu was one of the main reasons.
Yeah,
that but he was the one that pushed it over because of the Brazilian
Chelsea
connection.
tried to gazump it right before the deal got done. I think he's done an excellent job, and I think we've got to have faith in him. I think Trossard's a good signing. I think getting in a left-sided centre-back was a very good thing to do. And I think this Jorginho one, I think it's a good signing. It's a short-term signing, 18 months. I've got no problem with it.
And the one big thing that has got to be said why this has all gone on, right, and this is where I'll give him the credit, and wait until the summer, what have we not had? What other teams have had around us? Champions League football. This is all without Champions League football.
Good point.
All these players. So next season there'll be a little bit more pressure on him if we get to the Champions League, because there is
but
that.
We should be able to attract better players.
But yeah, and so this is a man that's doing it with not all the players want to come Champions League football. He has done it on Europa League football or no European football at all. And people want to slag him off and make sexual innuendos at me and things like that. Like, I think it's disgusting. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, back this man. Look, listen, we've all made, and I'll give all the fans their credit. Look, listen, I've criticised Arteta at times, and in my opinion, rightly so. Do I criticise him now? Do I act as like, you know why? Because he's doing the business. So give that little bit of time and credit to Edu. And I think the club, look where the club was when these guys come in to where they are now.
We couldn't get rid of a player. We couldn't. None of
I didn't like any of the players.
Right? Plus, as well, our players, right, were worth nothing. We had to give them away.
Yeah.
Now, how much is Saka worth? How much is Martinelli worth? How much is Saliba worth? Gabriel, Odegaard. How much are all these players worth? Now we've got players that actually, if they did go, they would be worth a lot of money, and we could reinvest and start again. So, give them some credit.
Yeah.
Don't just go off of the fact that Chelsea spent 100 million on this and 100 million on that and 60 million on that. And, how's Cucurella worked out? Please check this out.
As a lot of them, like Aubameyang's doing great over there. They've all got big contracts. Forget about that. As big money, Robbie. They've got big money signings. Sterling, he's not on. They're all on big money wages-wise as well. So when it comes down to, why is Aubameyang still there? Why is Sterling still there? Because at the end of the day, these players ain't. What about the Ziyech one? You know, what are they going to do with him? Like, they have got to somehow...
They can't even register all the players.
No, and they've still got to pay them. Good luck with it, like.
Listen,
don't go down
happy.
the Chelsea road.
I'm happy with how we're
ever
running.
went down that Chelsea road, I wouldn't be happy. Like, I'm not saying like, you know, I've slag off Man City because they spend and spend and spend, but really, see, they looked at that Cucurella deal. They was in for him, and they went, do you know what? He's not worth that. And fair play to them.
Exactly.
Newcastle, as much money as they've got, are doing it the right way at this moment. Whether you like it or whether you don't, like, you know what I mean?
You know, man,
that's how it should be.
You can't spend £100 million on a player. If we go in for Declan Rice in the summer, we might have to make a big investment on that. But I like the fact that Arsenal said, right, you know, if we can't get our guy now, we'll bring in a Jorginho for now.
Yeah.
That gives them our scope in the summer to go back in for a Declan Rice. But they've covered a very, very important area.
100%.
You know. Anyway, let's get into our AFTV PICK10. Remember, the link is in the description. I think it's what's it? £11,500 up for grabs this weekend. In the PICK10, right? So
there's more people doing this now because, like, you know,
we absolutely bombed last week, didn't we? Oh my God, £11,500. Last week there were some big winners, by the way. This guy GMO. STFC, he won £1,000. He got 10 out of 10 correct. How did he do that?
Well, can you get in contact with us and let us know how you're doing this?
That was in the, you know, that was in the Man City.
Man City
how the
hell has he done that?
Special.
Like, you know what I mean?
He got 10 out of 10 right. There were 3 lucky winners who won £3,000 each last week, and 6 winners who pocketed £509.66 each.
Incredible.
Lovely little windfall for them. You can get involved in this week. There's £11,500 up for grabs. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. How did they do that? Why are we not getting this, Lee?
Well, no, you know what I mean? My Saturdays now are becoming like, I'm glad we got a game this Saturday because like, I can take my mind off it because I'm going into depression after these games. I think, right, I've got this one here and I'm scaling it through. Yeah, I've got the old green, like the green comes up, doesn't it, on the one you are, and I've got green. By the end, the only thing green is my grass outside, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all like, no, gone down.
Right, let me run through mine quickly. Norwich versus Burnley.
I'm a Norwich fan now, by the way.
I'm a Norwich fan now.
Yeah, I like Norwich.
Yeah, but I still think they're going to, I don't know.
They're on form at Norwich.
Yeah, so are Burnley now, they're on fire.
Oh, is it Norwich Burnley? Where is it at?
Yeah, at Norwich.
They're a draw.
Draw.
I've gone Norwich because I'm a Marquinhos man.
Marquinhos' debut goal. Rotherham versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United for me, good local derby. Everton versus Arsenal. Come on, it's got to be Arsenal.
Come on, Gunners.
Reading versus Watford. Ooh.
Oh, I tell you, Watford
they've been horrible form, haven't they?
In and out, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to go Reading.
Ooh.
Aston Villa versus Leicester City, Midlands derby.
Home advantage. It's a tough one, that.
It is a tough one. It's to go Villa, I guess, because they're at home. Brighton versus Bournemouth. I'm going Brighton.
Yeah, I've gone Brighton.
How good is that Matoma? He cost him like $3 million.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Just his goal at the weekend.
It's brilliant. Brilliant. Brentford versus Southampton. Tricky one.
Brentford. All day long.
I'm going to draw.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm going to draw.
Why you only get 3 or 4 every week?
Man United versus Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, away win.
You think?
No way.
United haven't lost a game at home this season.
They're playing well, man. United,
Wolves versus Liverpool. This is...
Now, I did spend a bit of time. I'll come back on that one.
Come back to that one. Newcastle versus West Ham.
Newcastle.
I'm going for a draw.
Oh.
I'm going for a draw. They had a hard game during the week. No Bruno Guimaraes got sent off.
Oh, yeah. Terrible tackle.
I'm going to do my little tactics on this.
Yeah, I'll see what you're saying. You know?
Wolves versus Liverpool.
I actually, in the end, went with Liverpool.
Right, then I'm going Wolves. Just to go against the grain. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Those are my entries. £11,500 to be won this week. Make sure you enter. Click the link in the description to get involved in that. Lee, of course, we are playing Everton.
Yeah.
At the weekend. Remember Everton last year?
Yeah, remember it last couple of years. It's not been good.
It's been terrible.
We always used to do well at Everton as well. Like
Yeah,
that, I mean,
yeah. Last year was bad. Remember that game?
Yeah. 1-0 up at half time. And I'll tell you what, in the documentary, and that's why one of the reasons that I've sort of went back a little bit with Arteta, because he come in and said, if you don't pick your game up, you'll get beat. They didn't pick their game up, and we got beat.
Honestly,
Eddie missed a good chance to win it for us, and we ended up losing it.
Aubameyang missed the chance as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember, I think that game last year against Everton was our worst performance of the season. It really was. We were so flat.
They haven't won for ages, had they?
Yeah, and we were so flat, lacklustre, and you can't go there and be flat and lacklustre. Now we're going to face Everton that are on horrible, horrible form, but
different Everton.
They've got a new manager in Sean Dyche, and they'll be hoping to get the new manager bounce. Although it's interesting because the fans of Everton are still really, and this might help us a bit, they're still really disgruntled. I think they were happy when Dyche come in because he is the sort of guy who can save you from the drop, but they didn't buy any players in the transfer window, which I found unbelievable when you consider the position they're in. And this is a chance for Arsenal.
Oh, massive chance. I think, listen, their fans, I've always got a little soft spot for Everton, and their fans have always been very, very vocal and all that. They'll be up for it. They'll be up for it first, And because it's Arsenal, Sean Dyche will be more, I'm not saying more confident, but you know that the fans will be with him for this game, you know what I mean? Imagine if you're playing like Southampton and you're 1-0 down after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the fans could turn. Because you're 1-0 down against Arsenal, the fans will go with it all the way through. So I think it's very, very important we score early. I'm a big fan of Sean Dyche. I know, I think he's done a fantastic job at Burnley. When you go to Burnley, like we've been there, and you go to Burnley, he done absolute miracles to keep them in the Premier League, or up and down, get them back up and all that. So for me, I think they're going to be a different animal to what they have been over the last few games, well organised, and we're going to find it very, very difficult. I think it'd be a tough game.
Their last couple of home games, they lost 4-1 against Brighton. They lost 2-1 against Southampton. We've got to win this.
Yeah.
If we're going to keep the pressure on, I you know what? I think, all right. I think, yes, when you go to Goodison Park, it is their fans are really good. They create a great atmosphere. New manager bounce. They will be really behind the new manager, but as I said, they're still very disgruntled because they're still very disgruntled with the owners because the owners haven't brought in any new players. Now, they don't score a lot of goals. That's the other thing about them. I think if Arsenal do what we've been doing this season away from home, which is start really fast, which is something we didn't do last year. We started so slowly and passive against them, even though we did go in 1-0. That was 1-0 was a bit fortunate.
Yeah, I remember.
Because it gets a run of play. Both teams were dead in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the second half, they came out and they lifted it and we did nothing. But I just feel that it's a worse Everton team than we faced last year. Remember, they had Richarlison and people like that. They haven't got those sort of players no more. The place, I think, will be buzzing at first, but if they was to go a goal down or whatever,
exactly that.
It could turn there as well because, not against the manager, obviously he's new, but against the board and everything. I'd be saying if I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm saying, let's get off to a super fast start, take it to them, really go at them in this first half and try and get a couple of goals.
Yeah. Do what we did against Spurs.
Yeah.
Go out there.
We've been brilliant away from home. I mean, previous to that as well, they lost at home to Wolves. I mean, their home form has been shocking.
Yeah.
So we
it's a different team now. Different thing now.
But it's the same team.
Yeah, but you got a different manager now. I think at times Frank Lampard, nothing against him, just didn't set them up right. They've got decent players. They've got Calvin Lewin up front, who, to be fair to Frank Lampard, has never been quite fit since he's been there. They've got Pickford in goal. They've got 2 decent central defenders. You know what I mean? Like just England. You know,
he's got players that actually. One Tchaikovsky used to play for him at Burnley.
You know,
and Dwight McNeil played for him as well.
So they've got things that they can work in an organised fashion. Listen, they're going to come in there. They're going to defend and defend. The good thing I think he's only had 3 or 4 days to work them. You know, so listen, if Arsenal go here and get it. This is such a massive game for us because we go. I mean, listen,
their best result in
what are you going to say
on New Year's Eve when they drew 1-1.
Happy New Year, City. Happy New Year,
yeah, which was
a great
shock.
Day that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a shock. Them getting a draw, but that proves that if we're not on the money, and I remember on that day, Man City were really flat. If you're not on the money, they can come and they can shut it down and they can be, they can really be a hard team to beat, you know what I mean? But I just feel that if Arsenal are on it, and again, I like the additions we've added. Like all of a sudden, you can bring a Trossard off.
This is the thing, the bench is going to be strong. I don't know if Thomas Partey's going to be fit or not. I think he should be.
That injury that injury was very precautionary. Because I was sort of behind it when it happened.
Oh, of course you was. Yeah,
I was on the halfway line.
What was that in the Man City end? Was you like?
It weren't the Man City end. It weren't the Man City end. I was in a what they call it's like a neutral end. So it's right behind. We was right behind the dugout, behind the Arsenal dugout.
Yeah, very nice.
Right? So there were a load of City fans there.
See you mixing with David Seaman and.
I was sat next to Niall Quinn.
Yeah,
until Cecil went and come and told him.
It's a disgrace.
Get out of my seat. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you about the guy who sat in front of me either, did I? There's some Man City fan.
No, go on.
I had an argument with some guy, right? So one time we was on the attack. Remember when Trossard was on the attack?
Yeah.
And he laced that ball and their keeper saved it.
Yeah.
So I went, like that. I didn't even jump up. And he turned around to me and he goes, "Don't you dare jump up."
Really?
So I said to him, I go, "Don't tell me what to do." I said, I was invited into this end by Man City because I'll be speaking on
don't win on stage,
yeah. So I said, do one, you know what I mean? Right? So he goes, "Yeah, but you don't." I said, "No, if we score, I'm jumping up. I don't care what you say."
Yeah.
Who are you? I said, "Just because you ain't making no noise, you know what I mean?" Because it was so quiet.
Yeah.
They were very quiet in their end. But the other Man City guys around there were right, actually.
Yeah.
They would give me a lot of stick. But the banter was very friendly, you know what I mean? But we just got to go to Everton. We got to do what we've been doing all season away from home.
Yeah.
I think we'll win handsomely.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
looking forward to it.
Do you know what now? I've got to say
and last year when I went up there, I weren't looking forward to it.
Do you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, there were games when you was travelling.
That was one of them.
Yeah,
lost their last year.
Like Liverpool away, thinking, "Oh God, we've got to go up there and all that." But every game now, I'm buzzing for even like Man City. I will say this after that Man City game. I know we lost that game, but I come away a lot more confident that positive. We can, more positive than negatives. You know what I mean? And speaking to Man City fans, they're going, "Oh, I didn't realise you was this good." And I think that perhaps we don't realise how good we are at this moment in time.
Do you know what, Lee, as well? Man City weakened their team. Because you think about
they haven't had a great transfer window, have they?
They sold Cancelo.
Yeah, it's strange.
Or he's gone out on loan with an option to move permanently to Bayern, but he's gone. I was looking at it, I was like, there's a few issues there because there are rumours that Bernardo wanted out on this transfer window as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting.
He's had a go at the fans.
Yeah, and
so they've done a lot.
I have to say, right, and this is not a dig at Man City.
Let's have a dig at them. Come on, dig them. Dig away.
No, because don't be
frightened because they invited you into a nice meal and all that. No, what it is, dig away.
What it is, right, the fans are all right, but...
What?
No, hold on. The fans that I was speaking to.
Oh, fans you speaking to.
I had a lot of good banter with them. But it was very quiet. I could see where Pep Guardiola's coming from, where he's saying it's very quiet there, yeah? And I think a lot of that's come from they win so much and do so well over the years that there's an expectancy. When teams turn up, they just sat back there and go, "Right, entertain me," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, man. I think it's not the same Man City. I think we could catch them cold. They got their game this weekend against Tottenham. I think Tottenham could turn them over, you know.
They can't turn over in their own bed like that, let alone anything else. Like, listen, all we got to do, I'll tell you what, someone said to me, do our business. And I think Mikel said that, I don't care about anybody else. I'll tell you what, if Arsenal win against Everton, right, because I'm staying up there, I ain't even going to watch the Man City Tottenham game. If we beat them that game, what it will be. We've taken care of our business, True. You know what I mean? And that's all. And I think that's good advice, you know what I mean?
But 5 points ahead at the moment with a game in hand. If we could win that and they dropped points.
Well, you're 8 points with a game in hand then.
You're starting to look good.
14 points if we beat them like with a game in hand.
Honestly,
get the polish out of me, like the old trophy's coming, like, you know what I mean?
No, don't say that.
No, but
we're too soon for that.
No, and it is. We've just got to keep driving, keep winning, keep winning. Putting pressure on.
This is a massive game.
This is one of the first. I think this one of the games where we go in front. We play before them. I think there's not many like after that. Like, I think there is. I think Aston Villa. Villa
will play.
Yeah, I think we're playing like a couple of hours before that. Other than that, we'd be chasing them after that. Like, you know, like following them. So I think it's important that we just keep winning, and also like you know what it's like, Robbie, when we've been in the other, like, you know. If it was the other way around, oh, Man City won again. Eventually, it grinds you down. You know, and that's what we've got to keep grinding them down. Listen, I'm going up there on
Saturday.
Went up there on Friday with Man City. They are not. You know, they was all confident.
Still beat us. That's what we got to remember. They did still beat us.
Yeah, they still beat us, but there isn't that confidence of like, well, we're Man City, we're going to win all the time. Like, there is a little bit of doubt. We've put a little bit of doubt in their mind. And that's what you need to do. That can't slip up against them. We've got to win our next two games, so we go into that game against Man City 5 points clear.
Yeah, well, listen, we've just had a really tough month, right, in which we've had to play Man City in the Cup, Manchester United, Tottenham and Newcastle, right?
Yeah,
this month of February, Saturday Everton away, the week after that Brentford at home, then on the Wednesday night we play Man City, big game, but that's at home. Then we go away to Aston Villa, that's a 12:30 kickoff, an early kickoff. The following week I think we play ahead of them as well, or maybe, I'm not sure what the time of their game is, but we got a 3 o'clock kickoff against Leicester away. And then we kick off March with Bournemouth at home. Then we go Fulham away, Palace at home, Leeds at home. Yeah, we've got some favourable games coming up.
The Europa League's in.
Yeah, Europa League's in those, but we got Jorginho.
Listen, we got like
Trossard.
Those games are big games. The Aston Villa game's a tough game because
they're tough. There's some tough games in there, but they're winnable.
Yeah.
They're winnable games. So, I mean, we could go on a little run from here.
Robbie, don't you?
I'm just saying.
Me excited now.
We could go on a little run from here that if we did our business in these games, the pressure would be heavily on.
Yeah.
You know, heavily on City if they slip up.
Yeah.
So Everton this week, we've got to win it.
Yeah.
Must-win game.
Must-win game. They're all must-wins, aren't they?
Yeah, but this is an absolute must-win, I think. And on the road, we've been good. We've been good on the road. The only, but then having said that, remember the game against Southampton, we were very lacklustre. Points. Got a little lucky that game against Leeds. So we can't afford to have any of them type of games. There will be a bit of a new manager bounce, but if we start that game fast, I'm confident we can get the win.
Yeah, with a better team.
I'm going 3-0.
3-0?
Yeah.
3-0.
Where you going?
2-0.
2-0. I'm going 3-0, man. I think there's going to be a lot. We've done well in the window, I think. There'll be a lot of confidence in the team. Yeah,
look, listen, the team's playing very, very well at the moment. And, I'll be disappointed if we don't win the game. I've got to say that because of the way we're playing.
Yep.
We are the team in form. And I think that's a great thing that one of the Man City fans said to me. Said, Arsenal are a good team, Man City are a good team, but you've got the players in form where we've not. Yeah. And that's a good point, So, listen, we put this, it's massive 3 points, but it's also putting pressure on Man City going to Tottenham the following day, and that's what we've got to do.
Well, listen, we come to the end of the show today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, click a link in the description or scan the QR code to get involved with AFTV PICK10. £11,500 to be won in the PICK10 this weekend. So come play with us. We're going to be involved in it as well. Hopefully you'll be better than what we've been doing recently. But look at all those guys who won all that money last week, right? So don't follow us.
Yeah, and certainly don't follow us.
And also don't forget to check out all of our excellent content we got coming up, previewing the game against Everton. And then, of course, all the fan cams, or I'll be interviewing fans after the game up there at Goodison Park. In the studio, you will have a chance to do your very own fan cam, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are around the UK, in the full-time show. So make sure you get involved in that as well with AFTV Fan Zone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully we get the 3 points against Everton this weekend.
Come on.
The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.